Now, has Drake just had another stream with Aiden Ross? When it comes to the biggest loser in all of rap music, with us getting the most unfiltered and honest version of Drake that we possibly could see in this time, we got to see all of Drake's worst habits just take over more than ever. And ultimately just embarrass him, as what is so clear is that even after all of this time, and even after trying to give his fans the impression that he is unfazed from Kendrick Lamar and everything that happened between them, this has just never failed more, as Drake could not stop mentioning Kendrick and trying to chip at his success, and from running around with the same old tired narratives that he has already, to almost saying Kendrick's name directly and making another awful mistake. Overall, with this moment Drake has had with Aiden Ross, he has managed to just show how with Kendrick Lamar still beating him so badly in everything, at this point he's really just completely breaking down and losing it because of him. And now before we go any further into this all-time crash out, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, it helps me out a ton. And so now with that said, when it comes to Drake, Aiden Ross, and this mess of an event that they had, I mean, really, with what is the closest thing we are going to get to a Drake interview for quite some time, and also just a chance to see where he is actually at when he can't lie to everybody with songs and moments that he was able to work on and prepare to try to make him look a certain way, although of course almost all of that has failed as well in its own way. Again, while Drake's main strategy in this time has been to try to act like he is the same old unbothered guy and he is just winning and making music and having fun, with him just stepping out with Aiden here and speaking, he just shows what's actually going on behind the scenes, which is terrible, because at every chance Drake had here, he managed to show his jealousy, anger, and disdain towards Kendrick Lamar once again, and just reveal that despite the narratives Drake and his guys, including people like Aiden, keep making, which from all of the pro-Drake stuff they are trying to say to help him, to them trying to discredit Kendrick with such things as saying that Kendrick is using the beef for attention and he's dragging it out, and that Drake is just trying to move on but Kendrick won't let him. I mean, of course, all of this is a lie, and it's really just never been the opposite more in reality, because in moments where Drake is supposed to just sit with Aiden Ross and try and distract his fans and these people from the fact that his career is still messed up no matter how much he's trying to hold on to it, Drake himself is the one who keeps bringing up the idea of Kendrick Lamar to his fans and the people, and while he may be trying to make them stay mad at Kendrick, and again just surround and stand together for Drake, because that is the only thing he has left and that is the only reason why he's even still in these spaces, he just ends up making himself look like an absolute clown, and everybody on Kendrick's team inside of things must be having a good laugh right now, because while Kendrick is preparing to play Not Like Us in bigger venues than Drake ever has been in, and again, with everything he's doing, he's going to make so much history, and Kendrick is just locked in working on actual music and his craft. On the other side of this, Drake has just ended up talking himself into another corner, where when trying to stand up and act all tough against Kendrick Lamar, after Drake and Aiden were talking about Aiden's boxing event, and then Aiden asked Drake about how much he would need to go into one of these events and in the ring himself. After Drake did some rambling, and then Aiden finally asked who he would want to be up against in the ring. I mean, when you see this itself, you can see Drake's face, and when he's thinking about who he would want to match up against and almost slipped and said Kendrick's name directly, you can clearly see all the memories and losses he has been handed from Kendrick just come up right to his head, and make sure that no matter what he did in that moment, he did not take anything any further and put himself within a situation where he just created a lot more problems, as he would be in another 1v1 against Kendrick like we have never seen before. And with Drake's nervous laughing that he tries to brush this off with, it's honestly one of the funniest things you will ever see, because fortunately now, because of moments like these and collabs like we are getting with Drake and Aiden, despite how annoying what they're actually doing is, we do have this ability that we were never able to see before in hip-hop, which is the real reactions that rappers are having just from the thought of being back within any sort of situation with another rapper who ended their career. Now, while Drake did drag this out for a little, but after saying he would not get in the ring at a real event with this person who he did not want to mention by name, but of course was Kendrick, but would do it in a gym, he flips right back into the facade he is trying to convince everybody with, and then just tries to act all cool to his fans. And now, if you thought that Drake would stop after having this moment, it only got worse from there, because he kept on talking. Because of course, Drake just could not talk about himself for too long, and had to talk about Kendrick and try to take down his accomplishments of what he has done. And with what happened when Drake and Aiden were playing these games and showing how much of a joke his career really is at this point, because I mean, just in terms of this actual collab and situation that Drake has put himself in, which is becoming a reoccurring thing, I mean, just to think about where this guy was once at and how he is now doing collab streams with Aiden Ross, this is just such a downgrade from where Drake used to want to be in hip-hop and from how he used to be perceived. And I mean, at this point, if this is what the peak of what you're doing is, you just can't even be anywhere near the conversation for best rapper. But now beyond that, and actually what Drake did to diss Kendrick, when Aiden decided to start playing some music and play Nokia in front of Drake, and then Aiden and Drake started to joke about how Aiden was going to be giving him one stream for doing this, which in this conversation, Aiden specifically said, "I can run a stream for you." Drake responded saying about running up his streaming numbers that the rest of these guys are doing it, so that it's not a problem that Aiden will. And now while of course Drake was trying to get a little joke off here about how Kendrick Lamar is faking his streams and getting fake plays because that seems to be the only rebuttal he has left when it comes to explaining how Kendrick is so much bigger than him, I mean, once again, Drake is reminding everybody and showing to audiences how bitter and messed up Kendrick Lamar has left him, because really, even when Aiden is trying to joke and be a fan of Drake in a way and just trying to play his Nokia record, Drake can't help himself from using this moment to try and spread these ideas and narratives about how Kendrick Lamar has become so big, all because of the industry and not because of people, and how all of it that we're seeing right now in terms of how dominant he has been is just not real whatsoever. And what's really so confusing on Drake's end and shows how this guy really is such a wannabe manipulator at this point, and I'm using the word wannabe because Drake is only convincing his fans of anything and nobody else, is how despite Drake and his team dropping the claims about Not Like Us having fake streams in all the paperwork that they are pushing against his label about the song, Drake is still running around with these same old claims about Kendrick's numbers and trying to discredit him with it. And I mean, with all of this, and even with Drake still sneak dissing in general, both in music and in moments like these, when you see the image that Drake is putting out here compared to the loser he is trying to make himself out to be with his paperwork about Not Like Us, it just shows that Drake is trying to put one show on for the people where he is the same old unbothered guy that has never been better, but then to these bigger players he is trying to make it sound like he has never been worse off because of Kendrick Lamar in this record. And I mean, with this and with Drake showing how much he's really lying to everyone in all ways and is obsessed with Kendrick Lamar more than ever, I mean, the guy just ends up showing that he's not just the biggest loser in hip-hop, but he is also the biggest clown too, because to just act like this and also contradict all of your decisions with these ridiculous claims and jokes that you were trying to get off to belittle Kendrick Lamar and make yourself sound like the real artist who is in the right and who's standing up to all the industry, you just can't even take a guy who is supposed to be in a genre where everything is about your word and what image you're putting out, but in actuality can't even stick to one story seriously. But with Drake and Aiden in this entire moment together, what Drake is really showing is that for everyone, we better get used to him doing more ridiculous things like this, because he really seems to be enjoying acting like a streamer and hanging out with these guys who are more immature than him than actually being a rapper, and trying to create genuine music that is telling a good story or just has something decent to give to its listeners whatsoever. And again, when we talk about how Drake is no longer hip-hop, but yet he's still doing some portion of the numbers he is used to, this is exactly why. Because really, aside from these people like Aiden and all of the other people he is friends with who constantly talk to Drake and support him, and again, when we talk about Drake not being hip-hop, but yet he's still doing a fraction of the numbers he used to, this is why. It's all because Drake is really the first guy who's cosplaying at this point as a rapper, but is actually more like a streamer, because really with the way Drake acts and with who he links up with and who he wants to be, and really with who he is making his music for, I mean, the guy is more like Aiden, Kai, or even somebody like Jake Paul than he is Kendrick, J. Cole, or Travis Scott. And to be honest with Drake and Aiden, as Aiden was also officially made an OVO member in one of the bits they did, and Aiden just never seemed happier. Drake shows that he resonates and likes him more than a lot of his own artists and people, including the guy he just did a whole album with in Party Next Door, because really, well, P&D has been nowhere to be found in terms of him standing next to Drake, and Drake ended up pretty much erasing him from their own work at this point, as he was nowhere in the Nokia music video as well. At the same time, Drake is making his moves with these other people just be so known, and I mean, while this is all the community he has left, because again, nobody who is actually a fan of rap music and hip-hop can look at him the same way for everything he has done, which is disrespecting everything the art form has ever represented, it's still just laughable to see Drake just step away and abandon the culture that he used to get where he fully is go. and again just turn into somebody who is no longer in the same lane with Rick Ross but Aiden Ross. And now while Drake is so far removed from what a real MC or a great hip-hop artist is, but he is still announcing that he is not giving up on music yet, as he said he is working on a new solo album where he says that it is going to be very good in his opinion. Somehow, despite Drake shifting into being a streamer, we are only going to see a lot more of him in music, and at that very soon with whatever new record he puts out. And seemingly this is because no matter how much further he is trying to move away from hip-hop and what the genre represents now, he still wants to try and get that spot he used to have back and try and shift back rap to the way he liked it. But while Drake is creating all of this noise and trying to force the hype for his music, I mean, from everything he has already done to everything he is doing, again, the guy just can't be taken seriously whatsoever. And as long as Drake is going to get scared when he thinks of Kendrick Lamar, and we can all just see that like we have here, I mean, he's only going to continue to fall off and just make a joke of himself. And so once again, with these Drake and Aiden Ross link-ups that nobody ever asked for, while Drake thinks he just got a win and one step closer to making a full comeback in hip-hop, all he managed to do was show how Kendrick really has messed him up forever and has just turned him into the biggest joke you possibly could be. And so now with all that said, let me know. What do you think about this latest collab with Drake and Aiden Ross? What do you think this says about where Drake is going to go next? And what do you think about how scared Drake is of Kendrick Lamar as a whole? Well, I can't wait to hear what you have to say about all of this. And now if you made it to this point in the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton. And now if you want to see how in this time, things are about to get a lot worse for Drake because Kendrick Lamar has more music around the corner. And at that, it's going to be some of his most ambitious stuff yet. Check out the suggested video.